let's finish up our solids section, and today we're going to talk about surface area and volume of a sphere. Now remember, if we took a semicircle and we spun that semicircle around an axis really fast, it's going to create a sphere. Now remember, the axis would be going right through the middle that we call the center. The diameter is going to be the width of that semicircle, and the radius is going to be from the midpoint to the outside edge of the sphere. Going all the way around, we're going to call that the great circle, and that's the circumference of our sphere. Now, a sphere is the set of all points in a space that are equidistant from a given point. This point is called the center. The radius of the sphere is a segment from the center to the point on the sphere. And we even have a chord of a sphere. The chord is a segment whose endpoints are somewhere on the sphere. A diameter, of course, goes through the center, and it is a special chord. Now, if a plane intersects with a sphere, then the intersection is either a single point or a circle. Okay? If the plane contains the center of a sphere, then the intersection is a great circle of the sphere. The circumference of a great circle is the circumference of the sphere. Every great circle of a sphere separates the sphere into two congruent halves that we call hemispheres. All right, to find the surface area of a sphere, surface area equals 4 pi r squared. All right, where r is the radius of the sphere. Well, let's look at how we come up with the 4. Well, let's think about a baseball. So if we were to take the baseball apart, the surface area of the baseball is shown from two congruent shapes, each of them looking like two joined circles. So the entire covering of the baseball consists of 4 circles, hence 4 times pi r squared, which is how we find the radius of a circle. All right, let's look at this sphere. All right, we're trying to find the surface area of this sphere. We know the radius, so we're going to take 4 pi r squared. 4 pi times 8 squared is going to give me approximately 804 25 square inches. All right, let's look at another problem. This time I see that the sphere has a circumference of 12 pi feet. Well, how do I get circumference? Well, I take 2 times the radius times pi. So if I divided 12 pi by 2 pi, I should get a radius of 6 feet. And then when I put it in, and I say, okay, 4 pi times 6 squared is 144 pi, which is approximately 452 39 square feet. Okay, how do I find the volume of a sphere? Well, the volume of the sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed, where the r is the radius of the sphere. So let's look at the soccer ball. The soccer ball has a radius of 4.5 inches. Well, it's a matter of plugging it in, but remember this time it's cubed. So 4/3 pi times 4.5 to the third power, which is going to give me about 381 70 cubic inches. All right, so now what if I have the surface area at 324 pi square centimeters and I want to find the volume? Well, the first thing I need to do is I need to find the radius. So I know that the surface area is 324 pi, and that's going to equal 4 pi r squared. Well, if I divide both sides by pi, they eliminate, and I get r squared equals 81, and so r is going to be 9. So the radius has to be 9 centimeters. Now, I'm going to use the radius to find the volume, plugging it in, And when I and in the end I get 3,053 and 63 hundredths cubic centimeters.